Imagine waking up one morning, and you don't know your name. You don't know where you are. You don't know the people beside you. You don't know the world outside your window. Now imagine this isn't just happening to you, but to every human being on Earth. 8 billion minds wiped clean in the same silent night. No memories, no history, no identity, humanity reset. Tonight, we step into one of the most terrifying what-if scenarios imaginable. Not the end of the world, but the erasure of everything that made us who we are. Memory is more than recollection. It is the foundation of civilization. It shapes our beliefs, connects us to our families, guides our choices, holds our skills, defines our purpose. Without memory, there is no past. Only a moment, empty and disoriented. So what happens when every human on Earth wakes up with a mind wiped blank? No childhood, no knowledge, no language, no sense of self. Streetlights glow over deserted highways. Phones ring into empty silence. Governments vanish in an instant. Society collapses not through violence, but through forgetting. Tonight, we explore the unimaginable. What if all human memory disappeared? Overnight, in this scenario, every person on Earth suffers complete retrograde amnesia. All explicit memories, names, faces, events disappear. All personal identity evaporates. But some things remain. The ability to feel emotions. Basic instincts like hunger, fear, pain, and comfort. Reflexive movements, walking, reaching, chewing. Some procedural memory, how to breathe, how to balance. Still, the world wakes up with no idea how anything, cars, hospitals, technology, governments, cities, all become incomprehensible ruins. Built by strangers, the survivors will never remember. Humanity must start from zero, in a world built by ghosts of who they once were. To understand this world, we must understand memory itself. Memory is the architecture of the mind. The brain stores experiences through networks of neurons. These networks shape personality, skills, and behavior. Wipe them away. The brain becomes structurally intact, but empty. Procedural versus declarative memory, there are two major systems. Declarative memory: facts, language, personal experiences. This is the identity layer completely erased in our scenario. Procedural memory: muscle control, reflexes, basic motor skills. This remains. Humans could still walk, still eat, still respond to danger, but ask them who they are, where they are, or why the sun rises, and they would have no answer. Emotion. Without context, the most haunting part, people would still feel emotions: fear, confusion, trust, warmth, but with no understanding of why. Imagine two strangers waking side by side in bed. Their bodies recognize warmth, but their minds know nothing. Emotion without story. Instinct without meaning. This is the new state of humanity. Throughout history, there have been rare cases of global forgetting. Civilizations collapsed when knowledge was lost. Languages disappeared when their speakers died. The fall of Rome plunged Europe into centuries of forgotten engineering. Entire cultures vanished without written memory, but these collapses took generations. Knowledge faded slowly. Never, not once, has memory vanished instantly and universally. Science, too, offers no comfort. Neurology shows that memory loss destroys continuity. Anthropology shows that memory is culture itself. History shows that forgetting is often more destructive than war. A world without memory is a world without civilization. And now that world has arrived overnight. Now we walk through the chain reaction. The collapse, the chaos, and the rebirth in a world where 8 billion people awaken as strangers. The first seconds are silent, then panic. People wake in homes they don't recognize, beside partners they cannot name, beside cities they cannot navigate. Children cry, instinctively seeking parents who no longer know how to comfort them. Phones ring endlessly. Nobody knows what they are or how to answer them. Hospitals fill with patients who don't know where they are. Doctors and nurses stare at equipment they can no longer use. Civilization's heartbeat falters. Cars stop in the middle of roads as drivers forget how to operate them. Trains sit idle. Planes remain grounded. Ships drift aimlessly. Across the world, anyone in a vehicle is stunned, confused, helpless. The global industrial engine dies in an instant. Electric grids continue running temporarily, but without knowledge, nobody maintains them. Water systems malfunction. Sewage backs up. Data centers heat uncontrollably. Nuclear plants enter automatic shutdown modes. The world doesn't explode, it simply powers down. A high-tech planet becomes a silent maze of incomprehensible machines. People cluster in groups, not because they remember one another, but because humans are social by instinct. They seek warmth, safety, and recognition. They gather near food sources, supermarkets, kitchens, farms, touching objects without understanding their use. Authorities fail to mobilize. Governments dissolve into helpless clusters, and for the first time in human history, no one remembers the concept of leadership. Hunger forces creativity. People explore, experiment, break things open, taste unfamiliar foods, relearn through trial and error. Language fragments. Simple sounds become signals. Gestures replace words. Humanity becomes a species rediscovering itself. But danger grows. Without memory, medication becomes meaningless. Medical knowledge disappears. Clean water is forgotten. Simple injuries become threats. Yet humans adapt. Slowly, painfully, instinctively. By now, groups have formed naturally. Not families because nobody remembers who is related. Not nations because borders no longer mean anything, but tribes. Small communities that share food, fire, shelter, safety. New leaders emerge, not elected but followed. Authority is no longer political. It becomes natural. The strongest, the calmest, the most curious, the most nurturing. Society starts to regrow from ashes. Humans begin documenting their rediscoveries. Not with language, but with sketches, carvings, symbols. Fire rediscovered. Tools recreated. Shelters reinforced. Patterns observed. Some groups find libraries and books, but without literacy, symbols mean nothing. Yet over time, some people begin to notice patterns, letters, shapes, repetitions. The first sparks of new literacy appear. Humanity slowly rebuilds the knowledge it once possessed. The Earth is no longer a technological civilization. Cities stand like silent monuments, beautiful, mysterious, incomprehensible. Airplanes rust on runways, skyscrapers darken. Satellites silently orbit above. Humans live in self-made shelters, use primitive tools, speak newborn languages, grow food by trial and error. But something remarkable happens. Cooperation becomes essential. Conflict still exists, but without ideology, nationalism, or inherited hatred. Wars diminish. Humanity becomes simpler, less divided, more dependent on one another. A civilization reset not by destruction, but by forgetting. Generations have passed. Stories replace memories. Myths replace history. Legends form about the ancient ones who built the towering stone and glass ruins. New languages dominate. New social rules define life. New cultures rise. Humanity evolves again, but differently. It's less advanced technologically, but perhaps more unified socially. The Earth experiences a second dawn, a chance to rebuild without the shadows of the past. All because one night erased everything. Memory is more than a record. It is a compass, a map of meaning, a guide to who we are and who we might become. Humanity lost its memory overnight. We would not disappear, but we would become something entirely new. A species forced to rediscover the world it already built. Civilization reborn from instinct. A planet given another beginning. The past defines us. But without it, we are forced to ask the most important question. What makes us human when we no longer remember humanity? If this erased world scenario challenges your beliefs, wait until you face the next. What if you woke up tomorrow, and every person on Earth had the exact same mind? Stay curious. The next what if is waiting.